Good afternoon. I have the pleasure to introduce my friend, our friend, Dr. Bittner from Berlin. He's a specialist, and he is the CEO of Adentix company, a group of orthodontic practice in Berlin. He's also chief contributor to Suresmile lingual clinical protocol, the first Suresmile user in lingual in Europe.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you, Chairman, for the kind invitation and introduction. So, what I want to talk about today is to finish first. First, you have to finish. This is a quotation of somebody very well known. This is Ron Dennis, the CEO of McLaren and the former CEO of the Formula One team of McLaren, and he said, to finish first, first you have to finish. I think in proper English it should be to finish first, you have to finish first, don't it? I don't know, I'm German. So, this is what he said, and this is always coming to my mind when I'm sitting in front of a patient and I see that the treatment is quite complex, and the patient has asked me, when will we get the braces off, when will we get the aligners off, and so I try to analyze, what does this mean in my practice? How do we finish in our practice? What are we applying in our practice? This is what we do. We have a lot of first phase treatment because we are in Germany, and in Germany the insurances are paying for first phase treatment. As well, they are paying for labial straight wire treatment. In the meantime, we are doing a lot of aligner treatment. I started with, I reintroduced Invisalign 3 years ago, and we achieved the diamond status after the first year already. And this is where I was always focused on. This is lingual treatment in our practice. And how does those treatment proceed in our practice? This is probably what we all want to have. A treatment goal and a straight treatment direct to the treatment goal. But the reality is looking different. Look at that, the first phase treatment. So we are taking an impression, giving the first appliance to the patient, and he will receive the first appliance, and we will see that not all teeth are moving properly. We are taking a second impression, giving the patient the second appliance, and we see still a movement that it was probably not intended, and we are probably doing a third impression and giving the patient the third appliance. The weird thing is, in Germany, we are getting paid for that. So, finally, in most of the first phase treatments, in our practice, we end up with labial braces to finally achieve the treatment goal. How about the labial straight wire treatment that we are doing in our practice? It's called straight wire. Probably it should be straight to the target, isn't it? But it is different in our clinical working day. So we are applying a sequence of different wires, and we see that not all teeth are moving, in most of the cases are not moving according to our treatment plan, and so this is what we do. We are applying a lot of additional wires with a lot of finishing bands. How about aligners? And as I told you, we have a lot of aligner patients in the meantime in our practice. So with aligners, it's a little bit more simple. So we are doing a PVS impression or scan in the very beginning. Then we have a deviation, and we will have a case refinement, another probably set of aligners, and another case refinement. So in our practice, the average is 2 or 3 case refinements for a full treatment and at least 1 for a light treatment. So probably I'm doing something wrong with my treatment plan, I don't know, but I need case refinements. How about Suresmile Lingual? So with Suresmile Lingual, Suresmile Lingual is based on a very highly sophisticated CAD/CAM technology in our practice. So I expected Suresmile to be more straight in our treatment. In 90% of the cases it is. But there are still 10% of the cases where we have to do an update scan. This is what Suresmile provides, only one update scan, then we will hit the treatment target. This is the normal way of treatment in our practice. So, we are all talking about CAD/CAM in our practice, and CAD/CAM should improve our treatment. This is what the task of CAD/CAM should be. Otherwise, I would not be willing to spend so much money for expensive scanners, for example. So, probably we have a scan, and then with CAD/CAM, the treatment should go straight ahead to the treatment goal. Let's have a look. How is CAD/CAM looking alike in our practice? So this is what Suresmile is. What we have since 2006 in our practices, we have a scanner. With a scanner you have to scan. then you need any computer, so to plan your treatment. And then you can order wires, you can order IDB trays, you can order models, or you can order even aligners in the meantime. So going through the Suresmile process step by step, the first step is, of course, is scanning. So there are many scanning devices now certified for the Suresmile process. So we are impatiently waiting for the new iTero 2 scanner. We ordered already 2, and I heard today I will receive it in April. And you can even use the iTero scanner for Suresmile as well. So, or as an alternative, you can use a cone beam scan. The cone beam scan is much quicker. So the iTero scan in our practice, so with the new iTero 2, we tried it, will take about 5 to 6 minutes for upper and lower arch, including the bite, but the cone beam scan takes 8 seconds. And with a cone beam scan, you can import all the data into the Suresmile software, and the Suresmile software you will have information about root and bone formation in your software. And look at that, you can even see teeth that are beneath the bone, yes? According to my opinion, the Suresmile software is still the most comprehensive simulation and treatment planning tool that is available on the orthodontic market internationally. But it's not worth anything if you don't have a tool after your planning that is providing proper treatment. And the first tool that Suresmile is providing is very precise wires. And very new is the so-called Suresmile Elemetrics product group. This is you can order IDB trays, you can order printed models, or even staged models for aligner treatment. And this is how Suresmile, for example, is staging the treatment. You can do the staging according to your treatment limits, according to your needs, and this is just an example for a treatment. As I mentioned already, I use mainly Invisalign for treatments. For what kind of treatments would I use Suresmile, for example? So for treatments like this is a young lady that came into my office and was asking for an alignment of a lower front teeth only. And this is probably too less for Invisalign, even for Invisalign i7. I'm not very lucky with i7 in my hands. i7 rarely works really well, and so I tried it with Suresmile Elemetrics. And what did I do? This is the initial scan. I did a 50% staging and 100% staging of the digital model and printed them and produced aligners in my own laboratory on those staged models. And this is the aligner that is a self-made aligner with Shoy material with a Duran foil, 0.5 millimeters of Shoy dental. And this is the result. So it was a class 1 occlusion, so we didn't change anything at the occlusion, only in the lower front, and she received also 2 retainers for the upper arch. From the left picture to the right picture, it was only 8 weeks, and the best thing is only 4 aligners of different material, and the laboratory costs, including the working time of my own lab technician, was 280 euros. That's huge. So we can say, as a summarization, for complex treatments that you want to do with aligners, probably you should still use Invisalign, but for small treatments, tiny treatments, or simple treatments, probably you should consider another treatment option like Suresmile Elemetrics, for example. Can we do labial straight wire treatment? Yes, of course, we can do it with Suresmile as well. This was the reason why Suresmile was formally invented, for labial fixed braces, but this is an aligner congress, therefore I don't want to talk about fixed braces, but about another case. This was a young boy, 11 years old, coming to my practice, and he was asking for a treatment without braces. Why without braces? Because he was a semi-professional field hockey player, and he had a lot of training during the day, and field hockey players have one particular problem. They have to wear a mouth guard during the training. So therefore, I looked into his mouth, waited for his permanent teeth to erupt fully, and then I recommended him to Suresmile positioners, because the Suresmile positioner is something that is very similar to the mouse guard, or any positioner is similar to a mouse guard, actually. And this is what we did. I did a scan, obviously, in the initial situation, did a first setup with a 50% activation, and then sent the setup to the printing service of Suresmile. They printed it for me, and I produced a 50% positioner in my own laboratory. Then I did, with the same digital model, 100% staging, sent this 100% staged data to the printing service, and produced a 100% positioner in my practice. And for safety reasons, also an aligner, because the positioner is not very comfortable during daytime. So therefore, I also ordered 200% aligners on the same 100% model that I already had in my practice. Look at that. This is the initial situation when I already had 3 appliances in my practice, chairside. The 50% staged positioner, the 100% staged positioner, and the finishing aligners. They were already there before we even started with the treatment. The patient received the first positioner, and this is the intermediate situation after the 50% staged positioner. So he has only worn the appliance during nighttime and during his training sessions. Then he received the second, the 100% positioner, and this was the situation after the 100% positioner. And as you can see, the bioplast material from Freudenthal is too soft, probably to close some small spaces like you can see them over there. Therefore, he received the finishing aligner that I made on the 100% staged model, the digital model. And this is the result of the treatment. So, summarizing all this, we can say the treatment time was almost 1 year, but it consisted only of 2 positioners and 1 set of aligners, and I can promise you this guy has only worn them at night, and during training, probably. So we can say labia straight wire, we can do it, yes, of course we can do it with CAD, but in this situation we have done some positioners and aligners, but we haven't left the lane. We kept our path straight to the treatment goal. So how about first phase treatment? First phase treatments are well known for being very long, very extensive. You have to consider deciduous teeth and erupting teeth. Can we do that with CAD/CAM probably, and with removable appliances? Let's see. This was a young guy coming to my practice with the question of a dentist. The dentist was asking me if the upper right canine was dislocated or not, and he was asking me to provide him a cone beam scan. And this is what we did. We did a cone beam scan. Okay, there he was. He had a slight malocclusion, yes, but the father was asking me once, so we are already here, can you provide us probably an orthodontic treatment? Yes, we could. From the cone beam data we extracted tooth information, made a setup even with the teeth that were beneath the bone, and put bone on it, put gingiva on it, and then produced printed models. And on those models I produced an positioner, sorry. And this is how the aligner was looking like, and this was the result after positioner treatment. So here you can see how nicely, for example, the canine was growing into position into the aligner. And he has worn the positioner only at positioner, sorry. And he has worn the positioner only at nighttime. From here to there, only 1 positioner. Did we finish now? No. We didn't, because we had a transitional dentition. So they were already, we still were waiting for the second bicuspids to come. And what we had on our printed models were still the milk teeth, the deciduous teeth, yes? So what I ordered from Suresmile now was a second digital model based on the first cone beam, because we had already the germs of the second bicuspids in our X-ray data. So what they provided me is a new digital model, including the second bicuspid that was still not erupted, and at the time point when we made the cone beam, and I made a setup, printed the models, and produced a second positioner on those models that you can see on the right side. Second positioner, and this is the final situation. Is it really final? Did we finish now? No. we are still not finished. We have second molars to consider. And looking back at our initial X-rays, thankfully, we already had the information of the second molar germs in our X-ray. So therefore, I asked Suresmile to provide me a third digital setup with considering the second molars, and this is what they did. They provided me this setup, and I produced a third positioner. And here, from here to there, I can now say we are finally finished. Treatment time, 3 years. Treatment appliances, 3 Suresmile positioners only at nighttime. So we can say we never left the path. We stayed on track with only 3 positioners. Why do I use lingual treatment or fixed appliances? There's one big reason. I want to stay competitive. So we have a lot of 6-month smiles questions now, or even 5-month smiles. This was an advertisement that I get in my practice. Yes, the general dentist can offer their patients 6 months or 5 months treatments. Can you offer this as well with your aligners? And this was a big question for me. Can I offer a competitive treatment for my patients as well? And so I offered this patient, because this patient was asking me for a 6-month smile treatment, but it should be invisible with lingual. So I looked into her mouth. I offered her, yes, we can probably do that with piezo surgery. Let's try this. She agreed, and she received piezo-cision. Just a short detour looking at my history of accelerated tooth movement. Until 2014, I used piezo-cision. Last year, I used some Excellidents. We had some issues. Now I'm trying Orthopulse. So let's see what the outcome is. Probably I will tell you in 2 years what the outcome was. But in this case, we used piezo-cision. We bonded the braces. She received piezo-cision. She received all the wires one after each other for lingual. And then at this time point, I knew I was running out of time. I promised her 6 months treatment. So therefore, I was exporting my plan model. I produced aligners on them and removed the braces when I received the aligners. This is the situation after the debond after 6 months. And then I gave her the aligners for 10 days only. She had to wear them 24 hours. And this was the final situation after those aligners. So you can say that the whole treatment time was 6.3 months, 1 initial scan, and lingual braces, 2 aligners. Summarizing this, we can say, okay, with Suresmile lingual, even with Suresmile or with lingual treatment, it's possible probably to keep the lane, but or even to cut treatment time. So I was very enthusiastic because of the former patient that you have seen, and then this patient came into my practice. Was asking me for a 6-month treatment as well, or for a quick treatment. I offered her piezo surgery. She accepted to get piezo surgery and lingual braces. This is what we did. Lingual braces, and after 5 months, okay, she was like class 2. I thought, okay, it's probably a problem in the future. I will not only order aligners, but also a positioner to get the occlusion right. So I debonded the braces, and then I looked at this was below 6 months, so I kept my promise. And then I was looking at the facial photos. Nice so far, but look at that. So at the intermediate diagnostic, I've seen, oh my God, there was a big problem. I have not made it better, but I made it worse. So what should I do? I already had a positioner and an aligner in my practice. So I offered her to throw away the positioner. She was very happy about that, and just to use the aligner that I already had in her mouth. The aligner in combination with 2 mini screws and sling elastics, what you heard just in the last presentation as well. And altogether, we applied a very complex mechanic for additional half a year. Did we finish? Let's see. Okay, on the X-ray, everything looked nice. So far, it looked nice again. And yes, thankfully, the patient was happy, so was I. Half a year with only 2 aligners based on the same setup. Did we finish? Yes, but not as first, because I've overseen something very special. We made a small detour, yes, because we had to go back to our former Suresmile treatment plan and provide additional aligners. So, to keep my speaking time, I have to tell you to finish first. First, you have to finish is coming true every single day at every single patient in your practice. And at least I finished already. And this is Alain Prost in Hockenheim, 1984, where he was running out of gas 200 meters before the goal line, before the finishing line. So he was not finishing his race, yes. He tried hard, he tried very hard, but it was too hard for him. Thank you very much for your kind attention.